Welcome back to Call for Help. DNS, TLD, these are common acronyms when it comes to the big world of domain names. .com, .net, .ca. Luckily, you don't have to know everything under the sun in order to get your first domain name up and running. But if you do want to get a domain name, I think there's lots of reasons to do it. And Michael Lazazara knows the ins and outs of this, because you own how many domain names?
I'm up to about 28, 29,
What?
something like that. I've let a few expire because I don't really need them.
Now, you don't have websites to go with all of those.
No.
But you have things like?
Nakedmike.com.
Do you buy these as a speculation, like somebody might want to come along and buy it?
Not particularly. I buy them in particular because I perhaps want to invest in something in the future. A good example would be MrFreeFile.com. There'll be something I want to develop there in the future, but I don't have.
Doing anything now.
But I'm not doing anything now. But if I leave it open, someone else might get those, and then I won't have the opportunity to take them, or I might have to pay a large amount of money to get them.
Doesn't it cost a lot of money to get them in the first place?
Absolutely not.
Well, show us how.
Well, I'm here at GoDaddy.com.
This is one of many sites, but this seems to be one of the most popular.
One time I had an issue at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and I picked up the phone. I said, no one's going to be there. I called them. They were there. They reversed the charges. Everything was perfect. Yeah. Great customer service.
Almost all my domain names are registered at GoDaddy.
And so, for instance, in this case, we looked up pongpong.com.
Okay.
But pongpong was not available, so they've given you
Somebody has pongpong.com?
Yeah.
So how do you look it up? You just put it in the search form? And
yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to go back to the main homepage, actually, and I'll show you.
Right on the front page.
Right on the very front page, at the very top says, start a domain search.
And it says .com, but there are other choices, and you don't even have to worry about that because they'll show you what the other choices are.
Absolutely. They have a whole bunch there, but then there's a whole bunch others. There's I think there's like 450 different TLDs, top-level domains.
Codes, like CA, US, DE, and all that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, for instance, pongpong's not available, so it's going to give me some options down in a second. And
it's doing the search right now. So it goes out and it looks for through the domain registrations.
Yeah.
Okay, it says it's taken, but it says you could back order, which we don't recommend, by the way.
Absolutely. It can
you can't get .info, .biz, .us,
.org.
$5.99 for .us.
Yeah.
Do you have to be in the U.S. to get .us?
I'm not entirely sure about the .us. I think the rules changed at some point about U.S. ownership, but. We thought of a different name. We thought Naked Pong Pong would be a good idea, right? Because I own NakedMike.com.
I don't know if it's a good idea, but I think it's a name.
So let's try Naked Pong
Wouldn't recommend Naked Pong Pong.
Well,
unless you're very close.
It could be quite interesting. So we're going to go search for that. I actually haven't searched for this, so I hope it's still available.
There's official Pong Pong, the Pong Pong, new Pong Pong, best Pong Pong.
Beer Pong Pong.
Naked Pong Pong is available.
It's available.
So it's only $8.95 a year.
$8.95 a year. So I can select that and purchase that. I can go down to the bottom and click continue.
They'll give you a credit card.
And they'll give you credit.
Now, does that mean you got a website now called nakedpongpong.com?
Essentially, I have a domain name, but it doesn't point anywhere yet. So you have to.
So you don't have a site yet. You just have a name.
I just have a name.
There are some reasons you might want to do this, even if you don't want to do a website. When a baby is born, our good friend Franklin Harris just had a baby.
Absolutely.
And I said, Frank, immediately go out and register the name of the baby.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. JoshuaLynHarris.com.
Yeah.
Because now maybe you'd say, oh, that's silly, the baby was just born. 20 years from now, he will say, Dad, that was the best thing you ever did.
Absolutely.
Does that mean he's going to have a website? Not necessarily. It might just be email.
Yeah.
He might just say, and that's one of the nice things. Places like GoDaddy, for a small fee, will collect your email and then forward it on to your Gmail account or your.
I think forwarding is actually free
really?
with GoDaddy, but if you want to have actually hosted one thing, it's like $19 a year.
That's a great thing, because if you are, say, at AOL now, and someday you want to change your internet service provider, you want to go to Simpatico, you got to tell everybody. But if you always have it. Mike at nakedpongpong.com.
Exactly.
Which ain't such a bad address.
It's going to be there.
Then you tell GoDaddy, oh no, forward it. You don't have to tell anybody else.
Well, exactly. And the important part with that, especially when you have accounts with different websites, and you may not use a particular website all the time, and let's say you change your email address, and then you can't remember your password to get in that account, they have your old email address. You're never going to get in that account again. So
Leoville, which is my domain, is not the best in the world. I probably should have registered Leo Laporte or something, but I registered Leoville. I've been using that for 10 years. Yeah. All my email's always gone there, even though I've gone through 4 or 5 internet service providers.
Absolutely.
It's great. I never miss a. Of course, I get a lot of spam now because I've been using the same.
Now, the one thing I want to talk about too, besides registration, is expiration of a domain name.
Yes,
right?
let's talk about that.
Because we've all had situations where our domain names have expired on us.
Yes, we have.
And what happens?
Very embarrassing.
Well, yeah, it is, and it isn't, because it happens to everybody, right? We forget about it.
Yes.
So what happens when the domain name expires? It doesn't really expire. for a period of time.
They keep it. There's a holding
period. For 40 days or so, it holds that domain name and says, well, this person might be away or may not be able to get in contact with us.
That's good. That's
so
nice.
there's 40 days where you can kind of get in contact with us and re-register it with no extra fees except for the renewal fee. After that 40-day period, it goes into a redemption period where then you have to pay extra money to get it back. And then 75 days after that domain's expired, somebody else can get it with a domain snatching service like pool.com.
I've been watching Leo.com for the longest time.
It's never going to come up.
It's never going to come up. It's anything with 3 letters in it, .com, forget it. 4 letters, forget it. They're all taken.
Absolutely.
I have a friend who owns Hey.com, Hey.com, and he's getting big money offers for it because it's 3 letters. Those are valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just, if you think there's something of value in the future, if you think there's a domain name that you might want to use in the future, or even if it's just for email, so simplify, so all your friends have exactly one email address. I have a friend right now who's working on our website, and I was like, first thing you do is register your name. Lazazar.com is not available. Somebody in, I think, in Italy has it.
And you can't fight them. That's their name too.
Exactly.
There is a new .name domain, which they're encouraging people to use for personal names, but I don't know if that's going to catch on. .com is kind of what everybody knows.
.com, .net, .org, I think are the big 3.
I have, for instance, for my radio show, Leo.am. I thought that'd be cute. It's an AM radio show, right? And everybody says, you mean Leo.am.com?
Yeah.
And I have to say, no. Not Leo.am, just Leo.am. So people know .com. They don't know the other
Exactly. And then there's also your country name. So .ca would be for Canada.
Which is actually, I think, a very good one.
Absolutely. .us. I don't know if that is actually American or not, but it's...
Well, it is, yeah.
But I don't know if others can register from outside.
Can get it. I think .ca, you have to prove you're a Canadian corporation.
Yeah, they do audits and they make sure that you are a Canadian citizen.
Sira checks.
Yeah.
Because I tried. For our show, they said, you may be an honorary Canadian, but you're not actually a Canadian. A visa doesn't count. For our show notes and more information on domains, visit our domain. You know what ours is? Callforhelptv.com.
That's ingenious.
You know why? Somebody else has callforhelp.com.
Who?
Oh, for years I've been trying to get this thing. They had it since '96. And by the way, if you have any ideas for Mike to do a segment, Mike at callforhelptv.com's the email, right?
It's not Pong Pong at callforhelptv.com?
Oops. Soon it's going to be naked Pong Pong.
Yes.
Actually, we could get you Pong Pong. Would you like Pong Pong?
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to take a break. But while we do, let's see what domain names they're trying to register in the control room. There's a frantic feeding frenzy going on in there. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
10, 9, 8 commercials, 7, 6, 5 commercials, 3 roll commercials, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Call for Help. I'm thinking I feel like a complete punter compared to Mike. He's got 28 domain names registered. I might have 5 or 6. Do you have any, Katya? Do you have Katya.com or anything?
I don't have .com because that was taken, so I did a .ca name, and I've had it for a really long time.
Do you use it?
Yeah, I do. Right now it's just sort of an online resume. It's pretty static, but I have had it for a while, so I'm glad that I had that.
Yeah.
My full name's too long and too hard to spell and pronounce, so Katya.ca is just easier.
You have Katya.ca?
I do.
No. Katya.ca, you have that?
That's right, yep.
You must have registered that quite a while ago.
Yeah, probably in like '98 or something.
Oh, man, that's a great domain name.
I was thinking.
That's a really great domain name. I'm jealous. Well, you know, there was Leo.tv was available, and it was like $500. I thought, oh, I don't want to spend that much money. And I thought about it, and a day later I said, yeah, I really should get Leo.tv. I'm not going to get Leo.com. I went back, somebody already got it. So you can't sleep on these. You got to get them right away. You were smart. You rushed right out.
You have to think of the value, not the money you're spending.
$8.95.